So if you're looking to get into printing or replace a printer or upgrade your printer, this is a video for you, because over here we have my Flashforge Adventurer 3, which I've owned for 4 years now. And if we go into tools, about tools, let's look at the hours on it. Sitting about, this may have sitting where's the hour meter? Status on at the moment, so you can hear the fan running in the back. This is turning into a fiddly video, as always. About its software versions in page 1. About page 1 is Adventurer 3 serial number, registration code. Okay. Software version on page 2. Okay. Slow down, Duncan. Board volume 150 square. Usage counter 1363 hours. Printer name Adventurer 3. My IP address. I've got it connected to Wi-Fi, because I like the fact that over there I can just slice in my in the flash print slicer, hit send, and as long as we've got stuff over here, this machine just starts doing its stuff. Right, page 4 is a Wi-Fi MAC address. So in here, got the LED lights on. This is the board plate. I have replaced this. I replaced this at about 1,200 hours, because it started bubbling up, curling up. My dad asked me, how do you know it's failed? I said, it starts curling up. He says, what does it look like? I said, well, it curls up. He says, like burnt toast. I said, exactly. So this is nice. You can snap your stuff off after the time, once it's cooled down, especially if you've had PETG or ABS printed. This gets to 50 with PLA, but ABS and PETG runs this at 100 degrees C, so careful, it's hot. So it just slides in there like that. Okay. As you can see over here, I have got this little device. Now I made this because this rod inside here is a little loose, especially with high temperature prints, as it's fed in moving forwards and backwards, like so. There's a knocking sound, very irritating. So this impinges on your print area a little bit, because with it snapped in place, like so, this does hit it, but it's not much. So I just leave it in, because mainly what I print doesn't cause this to come all the way forward. So that's the one thing I've had to do. So if you go to tools, let's move it. I'll show you what else I've had to do. Z, move that down. It's a Bowden tube printer. It's not direct drive, which means that your drive sits over here, and your filament sensors over here as well. Now what happens when with the Bowden tube printer, when there's a jam, that you need to remove the Bowden tube from the print head, which means that you've got to uncouple it from the little okay, after a certain height you have to inch it down. That's good enough. So over here, as you can see, I have fitted this addition. Looks like that. Inside it's hex shaped. Okay, so that is what it looks like when you get it from the factory. And that over there is the ring that you push down to release the Bowden tube. And releasing the Bowden tube is what you need to do when you've had a jam up, because filament are broken in the Bowden tube, or you've had oval filament going, or it went wrong. You're having a bad day. Okay, so without this, what happens is over time, those teeth, the sharp part teeth as I call them, that hold this Bowden tube, the PTFE tube, in there, dig into it. When you want to remove it, they've dug in, they sunk their teeth into it, and you can't get it out, and your bad day gets worse. So I installed this a few hundred hours ago, and that has solved that problem. It means that when I need to remove the Bowden tube, which is not often, I can get it out. So those are the two modifications that I've done to the machine. Alright, so let's get the setting, tools, setting, let's home it, get that out the way. I have upgraded that to the 265 degrees C print nozzle. That means that it doesn't complain when I want to print PETG, which is not what I do often. The only PETG that I've got is over here, which is clear, which I don't use often. The rest of the stuff is PLA, PLA Plus or ABS. That over there is, what is it? PLA. That's PLA Plus, that's PLA, 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 ABS, PLA, PLA, ABS, PLA, 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 and some more PG which came off there. I rewound some of it. Right, over here I have a spool holder like this, because I use 1 kilogram reels of filament. So that just sits over here next to the machine, like so. Right, normally your filament I haven't got a small spool. Yes, I do. Try not to cause an avalanche. Normally your small spool, you take this like so, and you fit in there. There's a cover that fits in the side. It closes up. I don't do that anymore because I use these big spools of filament. Now where I live, we have very low humidity. It's pretty close to desert. It's desert in the winter, and it is sort of sub-Saharan climate in the summer. I live in central South Africa, so summers get to about 50-60% humidity. Don't get any more. So the only materials I have to worry about drying are the ABS and the PETG. The PLA I never dry and I never have problems in my climate. At the coast, where you're living at 80% to 100% humidity at the time, the East Coast, yeah, you have to dry all your materials. You have to dry them or keep them dry. Alright, so what have we got here? As you can hear, there's a little bit of a noise from that fan that's running at the moment. Now that fan inside the printer is not yet running, it's the exhaust fan that's running at the moment. So what I do before I print, I'll grab myself some isopropyl alcohol, whip off the cap, pour some onto the tissue paper, and I'll do this like so, just that. Always. So before you print, do that. No fingerprints on that, and you're good to go. Because if you touched it, you can cause a print to come off. You can cause warping. So in the trash that goes, and our print plate is ready for printing. Okay. Now, maintenance wise, you've got your 2 lead screws here, and you've got 4 rods. There's one down here, and there's 3. Now what I do, as you can see, not so much on that rod, possibly a little bit, but you can see they are a little bit black. The bottom part's still shiny where the nut doesn't go, but there's a little bit of debris from brass wear from the nuts on those rods, which is normal. What I do, once again, just take some of this tissue paper and I wipe those down. Alright, grab some tissue paper and wipe it down like that. Okay, and it'll come off like that. And you keep going. Get it all off. Like that. Okay. Then what I do, grab some of these swabs, or Q-tips or earbuds, whatever flavor you call them. I use this lithium grease, general purpose grease, and it's called NLGI2. And just take your tub of this stuff, dip this in there, and then dip it in there, and then your wife can hear you again, whichever you prefer. But this is another solution to a domestic problem. Then you just go around like that, grease your sliding surfaces like so. Run the carriage forward or drag it forward. Just do that. Apply some grease to that rail and stick some on those rails, stick some on that rail, move it across like that. And then you're done. And you go to the emergency room or the doctor and you explain to him why you did that and why you're now deaf. Don't do that, by the way. That was a joke. Seriously, don't do it. These things do not belong in ears. Okay? With or without grease, don't do it. So, and then you take that, you swab, put it in the trash. So that's maintenance. The house is pretty dust free. I keep this door closed. So generally this, I just wet once again, where is it? Our little trigger bottle. This is a 50-50 mixture of IPA and water. Take some tissue paper, spray that on, and you wipe down the interior like that. Keep it nice and clean. Wipe down the exterior like that. And chuck that in the trash. That's hygiene. Because it's a box printer, the interior does stay pretty clean. But it's a good idea to keep it clean because you've got wear surfaces over here. And taking care of that stuff prolongs the life of this machine. This is a $500 machine. It's not the most expensive or the cheapest, but I do recommend caring after your equipment. Now, this LED light is adequate, but what one can do, if you want to see what's happening with your print, is you can just add some light like that while it's printing, and it illuminates the inside quite nicely because this top part is transparent. So over here, what do we got? It's got a lot of prints in here. I'm going to start a print. It's got whatever you printed is basically saved on the machine, so if you want to print something again, you can find it on here. So why don't we truss around the one way on its second dot insert box lid. What I'm going to do is start the machine so that you can hear what it sounds like. Now you can stream, I can do that from the printer with a fresh file. In the case of something that I want again, like this, let's print something small, which is just a little light pipe. It's intended to be printed in clear, that we're going to print it in this stuff, and I'm going to discard it. It's just a demonstration. So there you can hear what it sounds like running, which is not bad. So it's going to stop over here and then heat up these two surfaces, and then it's going to get going. As far as slicing goes, I use the default settings. I found that 80 millimeters per second print speed, which is the default, works. The layer sizes, all that sort of stuff, I use the medium print setting as it were, because you can go fine, you can go coarse, depending on whether you want it fast or slower. It is not a fast machine, but I'm not worried about getting prints out fast. So this print over here, which we'll see in a moment how long it's going to take, it doesn't bother me. I can do other stuff while it's busy. So I use a standard Flashforge slicer. Whenever there's an update for that, it warns you and you download it. This machine is on my Wi-Fi network and it auto updates its firmware as well. It just says new firmware available, do you want to install? And you say yes, it does its thing. And then you cycle the power, on it goes. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, the buzzer. When you turn it on, there's a beep, it sings a little tune and so on. There's also a buzzer for when it's finished. I turned that straight away, turned it off straight away, and I have left it that way since. Some folks might find it useful. I don't find it useful, so you can turn it off. It is there if you want to do that. So there we go, it started printing. And normally you'd have this door closed, but for the sake of the demonstration we're going to keep this door open while we talk. So there you go, 8 minutes, and there's a picture of our little light pipe that we're going to print. So this is, I think it is printing with a raft, I'm not sure. Now as far as the calibration goes, I did that once in the beginning, I think I've done it about every 300 or 400 hours. Got a card here that's 300 microns or 0.3 of a millimeter that I use underneath the nozzle to do the calibration. This is my calipers that I use for measuring models. Because battery powered digital calipers didn't have flat batteries when you need them, and I don't need the accuracy, which is another thing we want to talk about here. That battery. A tenth of a millimeter is good enough, so I have conventional calipers for measuring my models. So they live in there. So that's busy printing away. Accuracy. The outer dimension comes out exact to your design dimension. The inner dimension, you've got to remember to allow for half a millimeter smaller, whether it be a box or a round dimension. You've got to add half a millimeter to that to get your dimension. And it's regardless of the size of your print that you're making. It doesn't matter. Just add half a millimeter to the inner dimensions and you're good. Outer dimensions, as you want them, this will make them. So something like this, where I've made it to fit together. So you've got inner dimension over there, just to fit in with these dimensions over here. It just clips together. It's a nice fit afterwards, no problem. Openings like these for the screen, they come out nice. This was, once again, I got switches which I fitted into a backplate, which was glued in, and I was then able to mount these switches recessed like that, so they flush. Also with these clips holding the display on. It means that this thing doesn't have to be printed with any overhangs. I don't even try that sort of stuff, or printing with supports and because of overhangs. I just glue stuff together. It's easier. So that print is very nice. It's a project that I've still got to complete, as you can see. So that was the enclosure for it. Fits very nicely together, and the finish is very nice. This is a recent print, and the quality of the prints has stayed the same as this machine has acquired hours. Very happy with it. Those as well. That's yellow, clear yellow PLA. The buttons are PLA as well. It's a piece of test equipment. These petri dishes also fit together perfectly. one as well. This is a different material. It was that material over there. Fits together perfectly. As long as you remember your inner dimension has to have 0.5 millimeter. You're good. So that's coming along. So that is your standard print speed. It's not a fast machine. The stepper noise is minimal. Most of the noise that you're hearing is from the fan, which is that fan inside the print head. There's a little bit of noise from the fan at the back. That fan doesn't run if you're doing high temperature prints like ABS or PG, but with PLA it does run. So minor print noise over there. So that in another 3 minutes we're finished. Now in that case I did print that on a raft. Apart from these two modifications which I did, which improved the machine in terms of that irritation, and clear PLA tends to, you shouldn't forget to take it out the machine, particularly with the Bowden tube machine. It breaks up like spaghetti inside there. Then you have to take it apart and clean it. So that modification has made my life a lot easier with getting the machine cleaned up if that has happened. The nozzles don't often clog up. I've had hardly any trouble with that. I do have the pin that you can push into it, which is the size of the material. It's a 1.75mm pin, and then 0.4 cleaner wires with which I can go in the bottom, clean that nozzle if need be. But I've hardly ever had to do that. As long as one uses decent filament which is round, it doesn't get stuck in there and the machine doesn't clog up. I use the default print temperatures. I use 220 degrees for PLA and the bed I run at 50 degrees C. It came with a little bag of grease, and it's 4 years now. It's hard to remember what accessories it came with, but I think that was about it. It was the grease. I think the other stuff I had left over from the XYZ printer, which this replaced. As far as accessories go. So what sold me on this is I watched a YouTube video where a benchy got printed, and I was happy with the way the machine worked, how the functionality, how you use it, ease of use, and the print quality. It's just plug and print, as it were. Okay, that's what I expect from a machine. I'm not interested in battling with a machine. I don't have time for it. I don't have the interest in faffing around with the machine. It must work, and this does. You just unpack it, you get all the tape off, get all the packaging off, put material into it. There's a USB port there, so that you can download your prints. The Wi-Fi port, is there a Wi-Fi? I can't remember if there's a network port. I think there is, but around here things are wireless. My printer is wireless, this is wireless. I don't like cables hanging around, draped around, and not in my life, not in this world. So over there it's finished the print. So it's on my Wi-Fi. Flash print slices it, comes here, it prints it, and then it says, there's your print. So out it comes like that. It's warm, but no danger of burns. So let's peel off the purge, and then we'll get this off. Now that was printed on a raft, so it is going to break off the raft. And so that's what our print looked like so. Perfect. Now normally the object is big enough that when I do this, it starts to peel off. But in the case of this one, it's going to need some assistance. So I'm just going to carefully grab it like that and pop it off. And that's it sorted. Don't go near this with sharp stuff, scrapers, patches and so on. And you don't want to mar this up. I replaced this, like I said, I think about $1,200 because it was no longer level. Let me show you what homing looks like. A Z-axis calibration looks like. So you do tools, calibration, and I'll take our card over here and I'll demonstrate that. So it's doing its thing. The nozzle's cooled down already. If you want to remove the nozzle, you hold those in and it unplugs. I don't know where I put the one I took out. So as you can hear, there's not a lot of stepper noise from this. So down she goes. Okay, Z-axis. So what you do now, and bring it down. Now it's starting to drag. And next, do you want to complete? Sit right. That was a partial calibration. Let's do a full calibration. Now the nozzle has cooled down, so that fan has stopped. So it's only that fan over there, somewhere in the back, that's still running. So what is stored extruder is humming. Let's see if I can do the full calibration without messing up the demonstration this time. I know this is a long video, but this is a long-term review and it is for people who wanting to know all the details about this machine. So we go back to calibration. They're trying to mess it up this time. This is home again, and that is flat. I'm going to set this aside. The bit's over there, but get it afterwards. So every now and again, give it a wipe down, get your grease, get a swab, give it some love, the machine will last forever. It's extruder, be happy with like that. So now we say next, yes. Okay, now after I said yes, just doing the rest of it like that. So that's just dragging a little bit. because I've done this before. I did it very recently. So it's going to do 9 points. That's also good. In fact, that can go up a little bit. Yeah. It takes quite a while before one notices that it needs readjustment. I set that to 1.3. As these nuts on the screws at the back wear, it will tend to sink, so you got to lift it up a little bit. So we're going to do point number 4. So there we go. And we're going to do the remaining ones. It doesn't take long, and like I say, I've had to do it literally once a year, which I can hardly complain about. Because this is a machine where the bed stays at the bottom and the bed does move around, one is not worried having to do a lot of Z-axis recalibration, which is one of the things I like, faffing around with sensors and so on. Don't need it. Let's see, that's already at 1.3. Last one. Now it's already at 1.3, and that's calibration. So now you hit OK, completed, and that's your calibration done, just like that. No mess, no fuss, and then it homes itself and it's ready for another print. So if you would like the STLs for those 2 parts, leave me a comment and I'll send you the link to my Thingiverse where they can be downloaded. What else? Please do comment, even if you don't need these STLs. Tell me what you thought of this video, your experience with this machine, and so on. Like I say, we're into 1300 hours here and 4 years of ownership, so I can certainly tell you all about this machine. I got one, my dad got one, been very happy with it. If you need to make bigger parts that don't fit into the 150 mil bolt volume, then you just design them so that they glue together. But in general, this bolt volume does a lot for you, a heck of a lot. I have not done a lot of high temperature printing, in other words ABS and PETG. My material of choice is ABS, or sorry, PLA Plus, which I recently started using as well. It just works. It gets complicated when one starts working with ABS. I don't need the qualities of PETG for the prints I make. ABS and PETG have to be dried even at this altitude and location in the inland where I live. They are very hygroscopic, so that's the other reason why I don't bother with them. The PLA that I've got over here, as long as you keep it dust free, because dust once again getting in here will cause clogging, I can leave it out in the open where I live and I'll get good prints. I don't have problem with moisture. Other materials, yes, I I've not tried thermoplastic polyurethane or TPU in this yet. I might experiment with it. I've got some. Once again, it's hygroscopic. You got to dry it. You got to run the machine very slow, 20 millimeters per second print speed if you want to use TPU. And TPU is not really suited to bound tube machines. What you really need is a direct drive machine where the printer feed is built into the drive is built into the nozzle. Because the TPU is soft, it compresses and wrinkles up inside here and jams up. So these machines don't really like TPU. You can get away with it, but it can be a hassle. So they say, and I agree with why they say it's not recommended. I don't have much need for TPU. Most of what I do is these little projects over here, technical stuff, which are printed in PLA. I don't need huge structural rigidity, temperature, stability and that sort of stuff. PLA is a go-to for lots of projects. You can do virtually everything with PLA. So there's that. So these are your materials and consumables that you need while working on the machine. For wiping down the exterior, a bit of water and IPA on a tissue cloth. Keep the outside clean. I designed that. Once again, if you want the link to this, leave a comment. It's on my Thingiverse. You can download this. It's a holder for 1 kilogram reels of PLA. This is pretty much everything that I keep in stock. Yes, I apologize about the creaky chair. We'll get to that later. I do need an upgrade, I know. And I think it's time for me to stop babbling. And turn that off. And that's it. We are done. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for being here today. And I hope this was useful to you. I appreciate you being here. Please like and comment. Please join the channel if you enjoyed this. And we'll be back next time for more stuff. Interesting stuff. Cheers.